My fixation with this person baffled and vexed me. Why was I so attached to him? Love, lust, unconscious, unfulfilled desire? I went on an inner journey to find out. I started writing, and what came out was a fairy tale. It was my most inner psychic world. There were dragons, witches, mermaids, and of course fairies. There were 2 more check boxes left, though, on my sexual checklist. Next, I tried an actual relationship. They were doting, and to be honest, I loved the way this felt, but I knew I wasn't being honest with myself because I knew I wanted someone who didn't try to assuage my wounds and baby me, but gave me opportunities to heal myself. I was beginning to understand that I possess everything I need for happiness and wholeness, and I didn't want to need anyone. This person made me feel happy, but I wanted someone who made me realize that I made myself happy. So I told this person I couldn't commit myself to them. It could only be a casual relationship for me. He moved on. I considered many aspects of my relationship with this person, the person from before, who had at this point blocked me on Snapchat and never responded to my texts. Even though I hadn't heard from him in 6 months, I still felt that he cared about me. So at this point, I started, to question my sanity, but I wavered between, do I trust the feeling of love / trust myself, or do I trust the world, the outside? From the outside, this weird relationship sounded very toxic. And yet, from the outside, my 6-year marriage looked perfect. Perfect. The relationships were absolutely inversed. I had lost so much already. Basically, I had nothing to lose, so I was beginning to trust myself. And I was starting to just stick to my own feelings. So once I made the decision to trust myself on this, I learned something new. I learned about twin flames. Suddenly, everything made sense. I looked back to the instance in his bedroom, looking into his eyes when I could feel him, feeling me, not just regular empathy, but like he was somehow feeling exactly what I was feeling. Another thing I started to realize was that even though he was distancing from me, was I actually the one pushing? I learned later that this is called mirroring. I had all these jumbled up emotions of both feeling seen and deeply loved, yet pushed away and not good enough. I recalled what he had actually said to me, not just how I felt. And I started to wonder where all my negative emotions came from. When I looked at his actual words, I remembered him admitting to feeling deeply connected to me, that he wanted me. And at the moments when I was at my absolute lowest, he had just said, "I'm here." I was pissed because for me it wasn't enough. I wanted someone to save me, to pull me out of that darkness and misery that spun around my internal world. He wasn't going to do that. He wasn't going to tolerate me needing him. So everything had come full circle. Yet I hadn't become enlightened enough to eradicate all my subconscious blocks in that moment. However, I understood more fully the work I needed to do, and I was committed to it in a different way. I did, by the way, I'll add in, seek some resources through the Twin Flame Universe and Twin Flame Sacred Reality on Facebook, and I did find that to be a very helpful resource for me during this time. Okay. I had one more checkbox left on my checklist. I'd spent all this time wondering how one particular person could so totally captivate all my senses. It's crazy, right? So I thought, is it just something about his energy? Is it because he's a Capricorn, for instance, or something about his attitude or the way he presents himself? So I was casual bar friends with someone who energetically reminded me of him. I didn't know it at the time, but coincidentally, he was also a Capricorn. Again, it was a good experience. No regrets, really, but I realized that it wasn't just some energetic aspect that I could find in someone else. I couldn't replicate it. So after that, I decided to stop trying to replicate those feelings and just focus on healing myself to a point where I could safely revisit my relationship with this person, my alleged twin flame. And that's where I had left off writing this summer. This was about 6 months ago. I can give you a little bit of an update. At that point, we were no contact. He reached out to me towards the end of summer. We went back to our, after some meaningful and vulnerable exchanges, it regressed back to our more rocky dynamic. And as of 2 nights ago, we are again in no contact, which is a common theme with twin flames. So I continue to focus on my work. I feel like moving and making these videos and working on my writing and creative projects is a good use of my time and energy. And I'll share that even though it sounds crazy, all the no contact cycles, it continues to just reaffirm me that I'm on the right path, no matter how hard it is. So, at any rate, however the story ends, I'm here, I'm on the path, I'm showing up, and I hope that this helped somebody or was at least interesting. If so, I'd love for you to comment, let me know what you think, what you got out of it, and I appreciate your support. Please like and subscribe as well. God bless.